and it will ask your consent. Good morning, Megan. So good to see you again. All right. So one last time for this morning, we're going to grab a bolster or like a firm pillow from our bed or a couch cushion or a blanket rolled up. And then option for a strap or a winter scarf here. There will be some time spent on our back with our knees up in towards the chest. So grab those, let them be handy if they are tools that you would like this morning. And then let's meet on our backs to start practice. We'll bend our knees, plant the pads of our feet, and lay the length of our spine down against the earth. Hi, Olga. Welcome in, y'all. You might walk your heels up towards your glutes just so you have a real firm foundation through the feet. Let your shoulders relax on down, release any effort from the chest and the heart center. Let the back of your arms grow heavy here. And then you might soften your gaze or close your eyes. Just going to check in with our physical body. As you lie here, releasing the full weight of your form down into the earth. And you notice your natural breath. As you lie here in stillness, the belly and the chest rise and fall with each exhale and inhale. You might even place one hand on the belly, one hand upward towards the heart or chest area, and just continue your natural breath. Noticing the belly, noticing the heart rise and expand with each breath in. Feel them soften and fall with each exhale. And then you might begin to deepen your breath. Really fill the body on your next inhale deep into the belly. Feel the fullness of the lungs all the way up. And when you reach the tippy top, hold the breath for just a moment. Now exhale, nice and slow, all the way out. Before once more inhaling deep into the body, filling the belly up, filling the lungs and the heart, feeling that stretch, and then hold for a moment. Now exhale, release that breath, nice and slow. Let it trickle from the lungs. Before once more filling the belly deep, the lungs deep, and holding our breath at the top. And exhale, let it go. Let's do 3 more big body breaths. Holding the inhale at the top for just a moment. And as you hold the breath, feel the expansion in the belly, the stretch in the ribs, and then exhale nice and slow. Let those parts of our body melt and release. 2 more big breaths at your own pace. You might even hold the inhale a little longer this time. Letting the exhale seep from the body. These big, slow, full breaths. And when you're ready, find once more your natural, gentle inhale and exhale. Taking the time to breathe deep into the body to notice sensation helps ground the body, calm the nervous system, soothe the mind, and prep us for the movement that we're about to partake in. When you're ready, sweep both hands above your head. Let the backs of your hands land on the earth behind you, and then begin to soften through the arms as you let them release down into the earth. Feel the heart and the chest gently open here. And then we're going to start a gentle windshield wiper with the knees. So keeping the pads of the feet planted, start a gentle swing in the knees from left to right. We're going to take it really slow. We'll move with the breath. So on an inhale, the knees swing up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, they fall towards the side. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, they fall towards the opposite side. With each exhale, the hips hang loose, the pelvis hangs loose. We're really focusing on the weight of those knees as you release your breath from your body, back and forth. Do this once more on either side. Knees hanging heavy with each exhale. And then on your next inhale, let the knees stay tracked towards the ceiling. We're going to heel toe our feet out wide, about about mat width apart. And then planting the pads of the feet once more, let's swing the knees with the breath, just like we were. Inhaling, the knees rise. Exhaling, they fall towards one side. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fall. Our practice tonight is going to be big love for the hips and the heart. So we start this morning with a gentle loosening of the hips and gentle exploration of the ball and socket joints in the hips, and also a sweet little opening in the heart here. Just preparing the body for whatever we're receiving during our practice today, whatever we're letting go. We just open ourselves up to that opportunity. We create the willingness here. On an inhale, let the knees remain still skyward. We're going to heel toe the feet out even wider. So wide, in fact, that you start to feel the outsides of the hips and thighs tighten. And when you've heel toed your feet about as wide as they go, with comfort, right? We're not here to explore pain. Let the knees fall inward towards each other. You'll come up on the blade edges of your feet here. And then once more, relax through the low back, the pelvis, the joints here. Can you even soften through the shoulders, the throat, your jaw and tongue? Letting the insides of your thighs hang down heavy towards the earth. It's not so much that we're pressing the knees down as we're just letting the legs hang weighty. Beautiful. An option to remain here or to reverse this in reclined bound angle, Supta Baddha Konasana. Release the knees up towards the ceiling, heel toe the feet all the way together, and then release the knees out towards the sides, bringing the pads of the feet together. So if this is not your jam, what you might do instead is draw the knees up in towards the ceiling. And you'll take your right ankle, thread it through or underneath that left leg, and then let the knee hang down heavy, that right knee. So this might be where we are, a one-sided hip opener. I'll show you this reversed. It looks like this, one-sided hip opener, or you might be in this reclined bound angle. Wherever you are, soften through the hips, the low back. You might send your next breath down into the low belly, feel it expand and stretch. As you exhale, can you soften the low belly and the low back any? Wonderful. From wherever you are, draw the knees up, plant the pads of the feet. We're going to walk the heels up towards the glutes and then press into the pads of the feet. And as you press into the pads of the feet, feel the tailbone start to rock up towards the ceiling. The low back here lengthens. We're not lifting the pelvis up off the mat so much as we are just seeking out the lengthening in the low back here. Pressing through the pads of the feet, feel the sensation in the thighs start to build with that pressure. We're not clenching or tensing the upper body at all. In fact, can you become jello from the waist up as you press down through the pads of the feet, lengthening through the low back? Now, slowly, you're going to release any effort in the feet, feeling the tailbone lower on down towards the earth. So slow, so ridiculously slow, until you've released all effort from the pelvis here. Let the pelvis hang loose. Breathe into the low belly, a deep breath in. And as you exhale, can you ensure there's no effort in the pelvis area? Knowing that every effort that we're putting into stretching, sensation, showing up, our strength, that putting in effort into the release is every bit as important. Once more, when you're ready, press through the pads of your feet. Feel the tailbone curl up towards the ceiling. Find all this length in your low back. And as you hold this pressure in the pads of the feet, bend your elbows out towards your sides, interlace your fingers, place your head on your palms. Check in once more with the legs. We're still holding that firm pressure, curling the tailbone up towards the ceiling, lengthening through the low back. We're building strength here. And then keeping that pressure in the feet, knowing that you can release anytime, right? You can find a break anytime. We're going to engage the arms and the neck into this. So pressing through the pads of the feet on your next inhale, breathe deep into the belly. As you exhale, elbows draw up towards one another. And then using the strength of your arms, lift the head, the back of the head off of the mat. You'll notice the chin naturally tucks up towards the heart. Let it. We'll soften through the back of the neck. Really, again, we're not engaging through the belly. This isn't a crunch. We're pulling the arms up, and we're using the strength of our arms to lengthen through the back of the head as we press down through the pads of the feet, curling that tailbone up. Breathe into the belly here, and on an exhale, slowly lower down inch by inch. And just like with the pelvis, we're going to go slow, slow. So slow. Breathing in and out as you lower the arms, the head, and the pelvis on down towards the earth, until you find yourself completely effortless here for a moment. One last time, on an exhale, press through the pads of the feet, curl the tailbone up, elbows come together, they lift the back of the head. We're finding all of this length in the low back, all of this length in the back of the neck. And as we hold this here, we breathe, pressure through the pads of the feet, strengthen the arms, knowing we can release anytime the body asks. And what a beautiful thing to comply to the request of our body. In life, we're taught the opposite of that so often. We never learn the power in trusting our physical body. When you're ready, start to release down towards the earth, slowly, ever so slowly. The head lowers, the effort in the pads of the feet lessen. We slowly open those elbows on out towards the side, and then relax and release all effort from your physical body. You might even keep the eyes closed or the gaze soft here and rest for a moment. The work that we're doing, it's called the front line release. This is deep somatic work, not just for low back pain, for hip tension, but also to release anxiety and depression, to calm an overactive mind. From here, we're going to roll over onto our left side body. So you might just let the knees fall over towards the left, Release the hands from the head. We're going to grab our bolster and use it as a pillow here. Extending that left arm out in front of you. Bend your knees in front of you as well. So we're going to check in with the body here for our alignment. My thighs are sticking out in front of me at about a 90-degree angle-ish. The knees, a 90-degree angle bend here-ish, right? The ish is important. The palm of my left hand is up. And then I'm going to take my right arm. I'm going to place the palm behind my head, elbow up. This is like an 80s workout commercial, right? It's going to feel like that for a moment, because on an inhale, fill the belly full and deep. As you exhale, you're going to rotate this right elbow towards the front body. You're going to curl it all the way on over towards that left forearm. And then inhale, open back up, roll open. Roll as far open as you can. That right elbow swinging open towards the wall behind you. Your gaze follows. And then exhale, roll back in. So this is just the top body. Moving with the breath. A deep opener here as you exhale. The shoulder blades at the back separate as you curl closed. On an inhale here, hold, open. Now identify the back of this left hand here pressed into the earth. Can you press the back of the hand or that arm any further into the earth, any more tensely or firmer, and use it to further open up into this twist? Breathing into the belly, breathing into the heart. On an exhale, let's roll back onto our side to neutral. Let's release this left hand down by our side. We're going to bring the hips into this now. So identifying this top right knee, you're going to press it directly forward in front of you. This bottom knee stays planted. The top knee presses forward. The hip shifts forward as well. Now we're going to draw this knee back towards the wall behind us. This right hip shifts back as well. So this is the same motion. Let's move forward and backward at a pace that suits you. But let it be slow and juicy. This is the motion that our hips make when they walk, or they're supposed to make when they walk. And when our hips are tight, when our pelvic floor is tight, or if we have issues with our SI joints, right? Some low back pain on either side or both sides, we tend to lose this range of motion. All right, press the knee forward here and then keep it pressed forward as you once more swing that right palm behind the head. And as this knee is pressing forward, we're going to open that elbow back. Ooh, and you might even use the back of this left hand to assist in that opening. Hold here and just pressing the knee forward, inviting the elbow back. And then reverse it. As the elbow curls in towards this left forearm, can you shift this right hip back towards the wall behind you? And hold for a moment. And then let's move with the breath. Inhale, opening through the upper body, pressing that knee forward. Exhale, we curl the chest close. We shift the knee and the hip back. Let's do this 2 more breaths. Beautiful. Release all effort. Let the head hang on the pillow. Let the arm release down by our sides. From here, we roll onto the belly. So finding your way onto your belly, ditch your bolster. We won't need it for a little while. Coming into Cobra, we're going to slide our palms underneath our shoulders. And before we do any upper body work, you're going to bend your right knee out towards the right. We're going to soften the inside of our right thigh on down towards the earth, and then bend that knee, plant the inner ankle down. And you might rest the top of that left foot down. You might keep the toes curled. It's really up to you and your comfort. But we're going to allow our pelvis, our inner right hip to melt on down towards the earth. Breathing into the belly as we do this. Maybe you need to release some effort in the glutes or the thighs. Where are we holding tension in our hips and legs? And can we soften and release there? Softening through the belly and the heart, even through the forearms and the shoulders for a moment here, while we just gently let this inner right thigh and hip open up. Now you might remain here just breathing and releasing, really focusing on relaxing this area of the body. Or you might intensify this hip and front body opener, which is great for anxiety and depression, by rolling the shoulders up towards the ears and then squeezing the shoulders back and together. So we're opening through the heart here. And then if you would like, you might press into the palms of the hands, keeping the elbows tucked towards the side body and rise up. Take it nice and slow, rising only as far as feels good. This can be hard for the low back. As you can see, the low vertebrae are really squeezed together there. So pressing the heart forward, gaze comes forward, maybe even it rises up towards the ceiling as you press through the chin. This is a lot. Huge front body opener. Breathe into the heart, breathe into the belly here. One more deep inhale as you exhale, lower on down. Keep the elbows tucked in towards the side body. Let's lengthen the legs out behind us and let's do some Superman pose. I hate these, but these are fantastic for strengthening the back and opening the front body. Our hips are going to love it. Our heart's going to love it. Take both of your hands. Rest them down by your sides, palm up. And first, let's move through the front body. On an inhale, rolling the shoulders up towards the ears. As you exhale once more, squeeze them back and down, opening through the heart. Keep this heart open here. Hold it as you breathe into the chest. And then the top part of our body in Superman looks like this. We're just going to continue to press back through our fingertips, pressing back to our toes, using this strength to lift the heart even further. And maybe we're just imagining it as we press the arms back. They're hovering above the ground. Maybe we're finding a little height as we breathe deep into the belly. But explore and hold. Beautiful. Another deep breath in, pressing those fingertips back, letting the heart rise as you exhale, lower. All right. From here, let's do Superman legs. We're going to press out through our toes, engaging the whole of the leg from glute all the way down to our toes, and then begin to lift, pressing the pelvis into the mat. The legs start to come up off the earth. We're resting our hands down by our sides here. And maybe the toes lift. Maybe we're just imagining they lift, but both are powerful. Breathe into the belly. Notice how it feels to breathe here. Kind of weird, kind of awkward, right? On an exhale, release the legs on down towards the earth. We're going to take 2 breaths, moving into a full Superman each time. So on an inhale, press the fingertips back, heart rises, pressing through the toes, legs rise. Exhale, lower down. Beautiful. One more deep inhale, rising up, pressing back through the toes and the fingertips. Pelvis presses down into the earth. Let's hold. Let's hold for 3 or 4 breaths, releasing anytime you like. We're not here to bring pain to the low back. We're just here to find some strength. Open through the heart. On your next exhale, lower the heart, lower the legs, lower the arms. Release all effort for just a moment. Beautiful, beautiful. From here, slide the hands back up under the shoulders. We're going to do this hip opening cobra on the other side. So you're going to slide this left knee out, open towards the left, and I'm going to turn around so you can see me. And then once you slide that knee out, Bend the leg so the inside of that ankle is resting down on the earth. And then can we release through that left inner thigh, that left hip socket? Let the pelvis grow heavy here. And maybe you already know you want to move into some cobra. If that's the case, palms under the shoulders. We're going to roll those shoulders up towards the ears and then down and back, holding that heart open here. When you're ready, any inhale lifts the head and the heart, presses through the palms, extending as much or as little feels good. Again, we're not here to explore sharp sensation. And if you are up in cobra, can you release any effort in the glutes and the legs once more? Where has it snuck up that it's not needed here? And then from wherever you are, release, lower, let go of effort. Let's extend this left leg long and roll over onto the left side of our body. Grab your bolster as a pillow. Put your clothes back on, or don't. Whatever floats your boat. That right arm extends out in front of you, palm up. We're bending those knees, 90-ish, hips, 90-ish. Palm of that left hand behind the head. And when you're ready, let that elbow open towards the wall behind you. Let your gaze start to follow. Let the heart follow the gaze. Hold here. We're stretching the intercostal muscles here, these muscles in between each rib, creating even more space for your breath in your body, releasing mid-back tension, upper back tension. This is a great posture just to hang out in, but let's start these curls. So on a deep inhale, fill the belly up, fill the heart up. As you exhale, curl this left elbow up over top. We're trying to meet that right forearm or somewhere near it, right? Doesn't matter if it touches, it's just roll in that direction. On an inhale, roll right back open. We move with the breath. And you might already on those inhales be pressing down into the back of this left hand, helping you roll the heart open a little further each inhale. Maybe you didn't enjoy that. It's not your jam. You're going to skip it. Let's do two more. My pillow is getting all wily with me here. And then on an inhale, find neutral, release that hand. Let's bring the hip and the knee into this. So pressing your knee forward, hip shifts forward, and hold it there. On an exhale, pull the knee back towards the wall behind you. That hip shifts back as well. We're just going to move with the breath. So inhale, knee presses forward. Exhale, pull it back into that hip socket. The hip travels back towards the wall behind you. Really exploring the full range of your motion. What we're doing here realigns the body. So if we have gait issues or if the tightness in our pelvis or hips has affected how we walk, how we sit, this helps to correct that over time. Beautiful. Let's take a pause here. Let those knees rest atop each other. Sweep the left hand back overhead. Let's bring the upper and the lower body in this together. So that knee on top, that left knee presses forward. That left hip presses forward. As the knee presses forward, this elbow opens up towards the wall behind you. And you might notice your range of motion is limited with that knee pressed forward. Yes, that's the point. We're intensifying this stretch, this little mini twist and opening here. On your next inhale, fill the belly deep, the heart deep. As you exhale, we're going to switch, shifting that left hip back, rolling that left elbow forward, and then move with the breath. Inhale, reverse that. Back and forth, building strength, releasing tension, retraining the brain to find efficient movement in the body. We're rewriting neural pathways, changing the way we move in our subconscious without thought to further support the body. On an inhale, release all effort. Let the knees fall atop one another. Release that left hand. Let's come into tabletop. So we'll find our way back onto our belly, and then from our belly, press up into hands and knees. Let me tuck my mic back in here. Hands and knees. This is a perfect opportunity to grab your bolster or your blanket or whatever you're using and place it up underneath your knees. We're going to be spending a little bit of time on our knees this morning, and we don't want it to become a distraction. So placing the knees up on the bolster can be really helpful. You might place your forearms on the side of the couch or the bed if it doesn't feel good to be on your wrists, but you decide. From here, we'll find some traditional cat-cow. On an inhale, drop the belly low. The head rises, the tailbone rises. Hang out here while you breathe. We're going to stay in cow for a moment and explore by pressing our chin forward, maybe a little up towards the ceiling, until you feel all of this tension along the front of the throat. We're opening up the heart and the front body here. Breathe deep into the belly as you tuck that tailbone up towards the ceiling. Notice all the space that you have for the breath in the belly and the heart here. Release any effort from the belly. Let it hang low. Let the belly button droop low towards the earth. On an exhale, we'll curl the spine into cat. Head and the tail drop low. Sometimes I like to imagine that there's a string tied from my forehead to my tailbone beneath my body, and it's pulling tight here. Like my forehead and my tailbone want to meet beneath my belly. And as you hang out in cat, press the mat away. Feel the arms lengthen. You might even notice the space it creates between the shoulder blades. And then on an inhale of your choice, belly drops low, head and the tail come up to cow. Let's move with the breath. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. Back and forth. Let it be full and juicy, just like the breaths you're taking in the body. All the way in, all the way out. From here, we'll walk the hands up towards the body. We'll rise up onto our knees. We're going to come into Anjane Asana. For Anjane Asana, we'll step the left leg forward, plant the pad of that left foot. So this right knee remains in that bolster or on the blanket. This is really where that padding becomes super, super important. So from Anjane Asana, on an inhale, sweep the arms up. Let the heart center press forward. You might even let those thumbs press back towards the wall behind you as the heart presses forward. Anjane Asana is a beautiful heart opener. You might breathe deep here. Each inhale, further stretching the heart center open towards the sky. And then on an exhale of your choice, you're going to sweep your arms behind you. You're going to bow down. And I like to bow until my chest meets my thigh. It's nice to bring my belly on the inside of the thigh as well. And we'll move with the breath. So inhale, rise up. Exhale, surrender. Nice and slow. Inhale, rise up. As you rise, press through the pad of that left foot. Exhale, surrender, nice and slow, engaging through the front body as you do this. One more round of breath. On an exhale, you might plant both hands on the inside of that knee if that works. We're going to heel toe our foot open wide out towards the side. And then instead of my toes tracking directly in front of me, I'm going to turn them towards the left just a little bit. So what we have here is your right knee, your toes in alignment towards the front of your mat right here. Your left knee out towards the side, the toes tracking with the knee on this diagonal. I'm going to face you so that we can see each other. Once we talk through the bulk of this, we'll be able to move more quickly. So as you can see, my left knee is out towards the left, my toes pointed out towards the left. I'm going to start to bend into this left knee. Let it track over the toes. As you do this, we're opening diagonally through the hips here. Breathe, take a deep breath into the body. As you exhale, shift back. Beautiful. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, shift back. So I'm remaining upright. I'm not leaning into this unless that feels good for you, but I am using my left hand to support me as I bend into this diagonal hip opener. Let's do this twice more. Our hips don't often see a diagonal opening, which is why this is so wicked important for our bodies. All right, on an inhale, we're going to stay where we are. This time, we're going to experiment a little bit. You're going to take this left leg, and you're going to plant it all the way towards the left. So we started out like this in Anjaneyasana. We moved out 45 degrees. Now we're going to move out the full 90 degrees. This is also known as Warrior Two variation, and we're going to use it like that. On an inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Your arms are going to track in the same direction, your left arm as your left knee, your right arm in the opposite direction, your drishti or your gaze in the same direction as that knee and those fingertips of that left hand. So here's a variation on Warrior Two. We'll turn it into this extended side angle by bending this left elbow, planting the back of the forearm on the inside of that thigh. We're going to sweep our right arm up overhead. I'm pressing out through the fingertips of my right hand, down through my right knee, my right shin, feeling all of this length on the right side of my body here. And then on an inhale, sweep up back into Warrior Two. Beautiful. From here, let's come down onto hands and knees. This is like a weird tabletop. It's going to get weirder because we're going to heel toe this left foot out towards the left. You're just going to extend it long. Come up onto the heel. So from here, you're going to sit your left hip back towards, or your right hip back towards that right heel. I have confused you already. Hopefully this makes some sense. From this, we're going to turn it into a twist. So planting both hands, we're going to feel our strength down to the palm of that right arm, the palm of that right hand. On an inhale, sweep the left arm up towards the ceiling. We're going to come into this twist, twisting as open as feels good in our physical body. Maybe that's a lot, maybe that's a little. Breathing deep here. And then on an exhale, sweep that left arm in, plant that left arm, that left hand. We're going to sweep the right arm up. Now notice your range of motion changes here. That's from this extended leg. You might feel it on the inside of that hip. Breathing. And then on an exhale, lower that right hand, come back into tabletop. So bend this left knee. Here we are in tabletop. And this time, instead of cat-cow, we're going to do some lateral flexion and extension. So you're going to shift this left hip up towards the left armpit as you gaze back over that left shoulder. And I'll show you from the side. It looks like this. Left hip shifts up towards the left armpit. I'm gazing over that left shoulder. It's almost like a side crunch. And then on an inhale, switch sides. As you exhale, gaze over that right shoulder, that right hip shifts up towards that right armpit. You might even notice now the left side of the body lengthens here as the right side of the body shortens. And let's move with our breath. So inhale to neutral, exhale, shift, looking over that left shoulder. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, look over that right shoulder. Back and forth. Beautiful. All right, when you're ready, we're going to walk our hands back, knees up on the bolster. We're going to come into Anjane Asana on the opposite side. Step the right foot forward. On an inhale, sweep the arms up. Heart center presses forward. We're going to invite those thumbs back as far as feels good. A little back bend here. Breathe and invite all the goodness into your heart. Whether you're needing more energy or more rest, maybe you're needing to let go of judgment or frustration. Let it happen here with the heart center open, ready for that exchange. And then we'll move with the breath. Exhale, sweep the arms down. We bow and surrender. Inhale, we rise up, heart presses forward. Let's do this 4 times at the pace of your own breath. When you're ready, we'll lower our arms down by our side, and then we're going to heel toe this right foot out towards the right. Let the toes follow this 45-degree angle, and then when you're ready, you're going to bend that right knee, tracking over with the toes. I'm remaining upright here with my torso, and I'm just relaxing through the inner hip here, opening up on the diagonal. And you might, like I'm doing, hang out and sit here. Or you might, like we were in our in the other side, move with the breath. So back and forth. You decide what suits your body the best. And then you continue that. I'm going to switch orientations here for a moment. When you're ready, pause upright. Heel toe your right foot until your toes and your knee are aligned towards the right. So this big opening in the hip here. And then let's bend into this, just like we did on the diagonal for a moment, maybe moving with the breath. This side hip opening. Let it be gentle and slow and controlled, only as far as the body says, yes, please. Beautiful. And then we'll remain here in this neutral posture, finding our warrior 2, sweeping our arms out towards the side, turning our drishti, our gaze, towards those right fingertips. And then turning this into extended side angle, we'll bend that right elbow, plant the forearm, sweep the left arm up overhead. And we're just pressing in equal and opposite directions here, just like this, finding this length on the left side of the body. Beautiful. One more deep body breath here. And then rising up to neutral, we're going to come back down into our tabletop, plant the hands, this right leg. I pick up the toes and I just slide the heel away from my body. It might feel good like this. Some of you might want to plant the inner edge of that foot down onto the earth. It's up to you. I enjoy it with my heel and my toes up. From here, let's find our open twist. Plant that left hand firm. On an inhale, sweep the right arm up, gaze follows. And hold here. Really press down to that left hand, up through the right. Exploring the opening of this twist here. Really feeling it in the rib cage and the heart, like they want to follow your gaze. On an exhale, sweep the right arm down, press it firmly into the ground. On an inhale, left arm lifts. Notice the limited range of motion. Love it. Let it be good enough. One more deep breath in. As you exhale, sweep the left arm down. Come back into the fullness of our tabletop. And this time we'll explore cat-cow with some barrel rolls. Some people call this scraping out the peanut butter jar or sexy cat-cow, however you'd like to think of it. On an inhale, drop the belly low, the head and the tail come up. As you exhale into cat, you might do a hip circle. So shift the hips in a circle. We're just going to find some free flow movement from cat to cow. So inhale to cow, exhale to cat. But can we roll the head, the neck, and the hips as we do this? And if you are experimenting with these barrel roll, scraping of the peanut butter jar, you might experiment with switching directions. Just let it be messy and playful. Whatever you're doing, let it feel good. Explore your own body. Hang out in the parts that feel sticky. Nobody cares what we look like. It matters what we feel like. And then from here, find a neutral spine, curl your toes on the mat. We're going to walk our hands up towards the body, rise up onto our knees, and then we're going to come into broken toe posture, which sounds as lovely as it is. From here, you'll sit your hips back towards your heels, nice and slow. Notice as you do this, the sensation in the toes increases. This is because we're taking the fascia that is underneath the toes and we're stretching it really deeply here. So continue to sit those heels back, pausing at whatever level of intensity that you can sit with without clenching or distracting or running from. Find that sensation that allows you to breathe into your belly and know that the fascia in the toes is attached to the fascia on the bottom of the heels, up the back of the legs, the hips, the low back, up into the shoulders. So as we sit our hips back towards our heels, we stretch that fascia, thinning it a bit. We're creating a greater range of motion. We're decreasing pain. There are 20 times the pain receptors in your fascia than your muscles. So oftentimes, this is where chronic pain comes from. It sits in the fascia that needs to be released and thinned. Whew. All right, you are almost done. 2 more deep breaths into the body. Relax everywhere you can. Let it all go. Let the shoulders melt from the ears. Exhale, come back down into tabletop, release those toes, smack them on the earth. That can feel really good. You might even lean back and just press them down. Some big, big work the toes have done for the whole of the back of our body. My, how we underestimate even the smallest of postures. From here, let's find our way back onto our backs, where we started, knees bent, planting the pads of the feet. However you'd like to get there, let it be unrushed. Let it be at your pace. Let it be unpainful, right? You are in charge of the whole of your practice, and nobody knows what you need like you know what you need. and I'm never going to question it. So once more, feel the length of your spine resting against the earth. Let the shoulders relax down along with the backs of the arms, the throat, the tongue, and the jaw. On your next breath in, feel the belly stretch and expand as you exhale. Let the heart and the belly soften and melt. Hanging out here, we'll find a figure 4. So extending this left leg long, you might find your strap somewhere nearby. An option to use it for this. So for our figure 4, we're going to cross our right ankle over the top of our left thigh. This is easier to do when we're laying with the legs straight than bent. From here, you're going to start to bend that left knee, slide the heel of that left foot towards the glutes, and then plant that foot down. This is where it can be helpful with a strap if we need to pull the foot up. So using the strap as the awesome, fantastic tool that it is, you might keep it here. And then let's find a little rock to the left and the right. So in this figure 4, can we rock our hips to the left and the right? It's almost like we're just swinging this left knee, these one-sided windshield wipers. Loosen through the hips, let it be loose. Can you rock both directions? Maybe you notice one direction is more comfortable to rock than the other. And then if you would like an option to remain here, rocking back and forth, loosening through the hips, finding these gentle twists, or to hold a deep twist by bringing the pad of this right foot all the way over towards the right. You might even grab that bolster, place it up underneath the pad of that foot for some support. So find where you want to be, and then tee the arms out wide here. If we're feeling some sensation in that left shoulder, you might bend the elbow and plant, or excuse me, that right shoulder, you might bend the elbow and plant the palm of that right hand on your rib cage. Just eases some of that stretch that we might be experiencing in our rotator cuff. And then hang out. Where can you release? Where can you let go? Where can you let be? Can you soften through the low belly once more? Relax through the hips. As you soften and release effort, if the legs slide, if the feet slides, let them slide. Sometimes it's incredibly powerful and informative to explore these deep twists just by letting go and letting it be messy. From wherever you are, we're going to roll back onto our backs. Shoop. Maybe you grab that strap as an assist to help pull the foot up. And then let's switch sides. Release this right foot. Extend the right leg long, crossing that left ankle over top the right thigh. Bend that right knee. And then rock. Start the rock. And you might notice, how does it feel to switch sides? Are you feeling some tightness on this side? Maybe you have an even greater range of motion on this side. We're just here to notice. When we take time even to notice how our body is doing in these movements, we create a deeper mind-body connection. And that seems so silly and simple, right? You just got to take the time to let your brain notice what your body is doing and feeling. And yet we live in a world that moves so fast. We grind and hustle so hard, moving from one thing to the next, that we can go days and even weeks without acknowledging the sensations that we're feeling in our bodies. Especially if those sensations aren't smacking us in the face, right? When you're ready, you can continue this rock, loosening through the hips, or you might turn this into the fullness of a twist by letting the pad of that left foot rotate all the way over towards the right, teeing those arms out wide, using a bolster underneath the pad of that left foot if it feels good, bending that left elbow if we want to protect the shoulder, and then hang out here. Where can you release? Where can you let it be messy? My left hip is much tighter than my right today. As I lay here, relaxing and releasing, my body and legs are shifting quite a bit, just from the tightness in my hip, and that's okay. Every day is different in our physical bodies. Every day we explore something new and different. From wherever you are, roll out of this twist back onto the back. Release that left ankle, plant both feet. We're going to come into happy baby. So happy baby will invite both knees up in towards the armpit. This is a great time to use the strap if that feels good. We want to create plenty of room for the breath so the belly stays between the thighs, the knees out wide. You might hang out here. It can feel really, really good though to invite the tops of the feet towards the ceiling, the straps on the tops of the feet, and then pull those knees down towards either side of the body. You might instead be grabbing the backs of your thighs. You might grab your ankles. You might peace sign your big toes or grab the outsides of your feet here. There are a million ways to be in a happy baby. And however you find yourself, let's find this playful rock again. I can't get enough of it. It's a low back massage, some kidney love. We're giving love to our adrenal glands here. And our adrenal glands, they do what they sound like they do. They're responsible for the adrenaline in our bodies. And when we have lived our lives in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, our adrenal glands are exhausted. They've likely been overused their entire lives. And when we move towards this place of healing, when we find regulation in our nervous system, when we start this journey of untangling ourselves from constant hypervigilance and living a life that is more embodied, you'll find you go through a period of exhaustion. Not that we're not already in one, right? Continue this rocking if you like, or you might take a moment in stillness. Release the feet. We'll come into our final Shavasana. So you might extend the arms and the legs out wide, taking up space. You might feel like covering yourself in a blanket and rolling up in a little ball. There's no wrong way to spend our final Shavasana, but we want to let it be effortless. So whichever posture you've chosen, let it be one that you can release into all the way. Letting go of any need to hold the legs or the arms or the belly in any place. We let them soften, relax. Let them be cradled and held by the earth beneath them. We find stillness in body here to invite the mind to also seek stillness in our body. And we do that by making our mind's eye acutely aware of the sensations of our breath, knowing that even in complete physical stillness, the body is constantly in motion. And as we lie here in physical stillness, and we invite the mind to notice the sensations, the rising and the falling of the breath, we train the mind towards the same stillness that we're seeking in our bodies. Each time the mind wanders, thinking about the past or future, judging the present, we invite it gently back into noticing the sensations of our breath. And remain here for as long as you like. Long Shavasanas are my favorite Shavasanas and often have so much to teach us. If you're ready to end your practice, let's invite some movement into the fingers and the toes. Let it be movement that your mind notices. Like, can you feel the pad of your thumb rub against your fingertips? Can you feel your toes curl and then stretch and expand? Notice as the toes curl and expand what you feel in the calves of your feet, right? It might just be the toes moving, but we're awakening through the legs now. You might do some ankle circles or some wrist circles, inviting that movement up into the arms and the legs. I really enjoy awakening from Shavasana by stretching my arms and my legs out long, pressing through the toes and the fingertips, and then relaxing the whole of my body down into the earth once more. But continue to awaken your form until you once more find yourself knees bent, pads of the feet planted. We'll roll over onto the left or right side of the body in a fetal posture. Maybe you rest your head on your upper arm. Maybe you grab a bolster for a pillow. But we'll pause here for a moment. Letting the weight of our body press down through our side, release through the belly. Let go in the hips. Let the body be here for a moment. Yes, we're in transition. But life is constantly in transition. And we can be here in the midst of it and find stillness and peace within ourselves. When you're ready, you might press up into an easy seat. Maybe that's Sukhasana with legs crossed. Maybe you're here in Baddha Konasana, bound angle. Maybe the legs are outstretched wide. Whatever you choose, let it be easy in your body. You might soften your gaze or close your eyes. Invite the palms towards the heart center and Anjali Mudra. And an option to take a gentle bow in the head if you'd like. We take a moment ending our practice to thank ourselves for showing up. Nobody can do this for you and your body and your mind except you. And some days it's scary and hard when we're not sure how we're going to make it through or even how we're going to show up. And some days this practice is blissful and lovely. But no matter how we show up to it, it's powerful. So thank you. And thank you for practicing with me. The light and the dark in me, see the light and the dark in you. And we are the same, messy and magical and learning and growing. All right, y'all.